Hello everyone and welcome back to another Fam2Cents cooking video. We're going back to the original videos that you guys are used to seeing, and today we're going to make a nice and easy pot roast. Our first order of business to get our pot roast going is to peel our vegetables and chop them to the desired size. We're going to be peeling our potatoes and our carrots, and we're going to be cutting our vegetables and basically cubing them into a much larger size than what you're probably used to, because we want them to be able to soak up a lot of that flavor. We also don't want them to lose their texture while baking with the pot roast. So it's kind of going to be up to you on how big you want that to be exactly, but rule of thumb, just try to keep everything about as uniform as you can make it, so that way things don't get all weird. Next order of business is to season your beef. Now, you can be very simplistic with the seasonings here. Nothing crazy. Salt, pepper, and garlic. That's really all you need. If there's anything else you want to add, that's fine. But salt, pepper, and garlic is pretty much it. This thing doesn't really need much else. It has a lot of flavor with the fat and everything, and you just want to get something to create a good crust on the outer side. So just make sure you season it very generously, I might add, with salt, pepper, and garlic, and we're going to let that sit while we prep everything else, because we want that to really absorb those seasonings and get some time to sweat a little bit. I did add this in as a legitimate step for myself, but it is not necessarily necessary for everyone else. But I had an epiphany that I had mushrooms in my fridge, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm adding mushrooms to this. If you don't like mushrooms, don't do it. If you do like mushrooms, once again, rule of thumb, try to cut them a little thicker and keep them uniform with the other vegetables, so that way they all cook kind of at the same pace. I mean, they're all three different vegetables, so they're not really going to cook exactly at the same pace, but you know, it is what it is. Just cut them to your desired size and get those boys in there. If not, completely ignore this part. It never happened. Next up is the most fun part. You want to sear your beef on all sides, and you get to crank the heat up really high. Make sure that it's smoking hot, and you want to get your beef in there and just give it a nice rough sear. We're not trying to cook this, you know, we're not cooking it until it's done or anything. We're just trying to develop a really nice crust on all the sides, so when it does bake, it retains some of that moisture and also adds a lot of flavor to the dish. So obviously make sure you're using a pan that can handle high enough heat and all that good stuff or whatever, and you want to give this baby a nice good sear in any position that you can actually hold it up in. If it's available and it's a surface, you sear it. Okay, so this next step might not be totally necessary depending on who you are and how you like to cook, but I like to take the beef and put it into the oven for about 35 to 45 minutes at 350 degrees to get some of those juices flowing, let some of those flavors develop there, and give it a little more time to cook before I add the vegetables. So that way I don't have to cook the vegetables with it too long and it loses, or they lose their texture. So totally up to you if you feel like this is necessary. If not, then you'll be adding the veggies here. Next, we're going to season our veggies a little bit before we add them to the beef. Didn't do anything crazy here. A little seasoned salt, a little bit of garlic powder. Very simple to season the potatoes, and then we're going to toss them with a little bit of olive oil so that way the seasoning sticks, and proceed to add the veggies to whatever space is available wherever your beef is. You just want to kind of really, you know, pile it in there. Whatever space is open and available, make sure there's no empty space. You get those veggies. Can also do that. This next step here, after you get the vegetables in with the meat, you can add some water, or you can add some actual beef broth to this to give it something to soak up. You don't want to do this all dry and stuff, because I'm not even sure what would happen if you do that, but there's always liquids and stuff in the bottom of the pan for me. So if you want it to be a little less salty, or you're worried about it being too salty, just do water. But if you want to add a little more flavor, you can do beef broth. Either one works. After you've made that tough decision, we're going to go ahead and wrap this back up with foil, and we're going to toss it back in the oven for about an hour and 30 minutes, or until you get the desired texture that you want. Some people like their roast beef to just basically shred apart when you touch it. If you like that, then make sure you're checking it periodically to get it to that point. If you like your vegetables a little more mushy, maybe they'll need to be in there a little longer if you like them to retain some more texture. It really kind of depends, because we've cooked the meat to the point to where it's about edible, but now we're getting to the point where you want to get your textures down. I like mine to literally fall apart when you poke it, so I cooked mine accordingly. So make sure you do the same. And then once it's all done, take it out and marvel at the beauty. Like I said, I had that other pan of extra vegetables. I just added some beef broth into that and had those veggies suck that up, and it was perfect. Look at that. That knife is effortlessly tearing that apart. That's exactly how I like it. That's how I wanted it, and it was delicious. Once again, I would like to thank you guys for watching another episode of Fam2Cents. The dish today was a pot roast. It was really fun to make, and it tasted even better, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff to make sure that these videos continue to be shared and that sub count keeps going up.